very healthy defense at the moment. 3 operator bans when?
Yeah,
Please?
yeah, when? Question mark, actually.
Here's what I would like to see.
Okay.
I would like to see teams ban 1 attacker and defender each, and then get 1 floating ban.
Oh my god. I've been saying the same thing.
So you could see 4 defenders banned and 2 attackers banned if they really, really want. And it allows you to maybe make some of these maps more attacker favored. Attacker repick indisputably made attacking more flexible.
Yeah.
And the original criticism by a lot of players in the scene was, oh, well, it makes the defense impossible because they'll see what we have. They will perfectly tailor their attack. And because every single map in this event is defender favored.
Yeah. Which is a surprise, to be honest. But again, that's the impact of some of these new operators, like you said, Asami and the Solace. And we're still seeing operators like Valkyrie getting banned almost all the time. The black eye cameras is so valuable. So that allows these new operators to be played throughout.
I mean, that's the thing, right? People turn around and say, oh, we'll just ban Azami and Solus.
Yeah.
Okay, but then your most banned operators prior to that in Mira, Valkyrie, Kaid, Wamai, suddenly they're all available.
Yep. And
So-
then it might be the same, you know?
Exactly. So, I mean, yes, you will see Azami and Solus banned quite a lot. Solus is banned in this map. Azami was banned out on Cafe. Solus was not.
Yep.
But teams only get 1 ban for a defender. And they ultimately choose who do we not want to play with and who will hurt our opponent the most by getting rid of. In this case, Heroic don't want SSG to have access to the Solus. Given the fact that SSG is starting on defense, we'll see how they can recover if there's a bit of a problem that it brings to them. Maybe not. Either way, SSG starting on defense, Heroic on attack. For Space Station, a victory on Chalet sends Heroic home. They will be on a plane out of here. We are in the lower bracket today. Every single team that made the upper bracket has the day off. Today, we will be saying goodbye to a lot of teams. Some of them good, some of them simply surviving through the group stage because of, in many parts, APAC's poor performance.
Yeah. Both of these 2 teams, they have history with Chalet during this tournament. Heroic played it 3 times. They've lost twice on it, 5-7 to DC and OXG, so close games. And they've won it once against FaZe, also a 7-5 for them. Whereas SSG, they've lost it once, 1-7 against W7M. They start off great in this round, but Hot and Cold getting the opening kill.
Oh, that's the stuff you need. MPX in the hands of Yeti gets kill number 2. Heroic having some difficulties. Surrendering 2 players very quickly. Joom and Noodle, 2 of the best for Heroic. You need good games out of them. The disappointing performance from Heroic in map number 1 was Uno. You know, as a former teammate of him, that he can have extreme influence on the map, even without getting any kills. He's going to be the main point of leadership as well for Heroic to guide this team forward. And the rounds where Heroic succeed, probably because Uno has played a big part in that.
Yeah, Uno plays this as the sole voice of Heroic, so every decision and call is typically coming from him. When you play in that environment, it will impact your personal performance because you have to just spend so much time worrying about what other people should be doing, micromanaging them. You see sometimes Uno just more time on drones than actual gunfights. Again, same for this round.
The life of a support.
Life of a support indeed. And he's trying to get that plant down as well. Heroic trying to advance their position. Grizzly with a nice opening possibly set office, but has to find multiple kills with the work.
Noodle on Repel gets information. The look of surprise on his face tells the story. It might be not surprise, maybe more alarm, but either way, maybe not expecting that. Noodle taken out by a Nitro Cell after punishing Rampy. Grizzly can walk in and behead Hot and Cold relatively easily. Heroic behind in numbers, but they've made this far more winnable than it was a couple seconds before. The bigger impediment for them is not anybody on SSG, but the clock.
Yep, that has been the issue for both teams on Cafe. It'll continue on Chalet for the first round. 25 seconds left. They got info on the Kaid. Can try and go for a floor bang. It's so close, but it's a bit too far to the left.
It's the beauty of those yellow pings. Uno's got one. He's distracted. He still wins the kill. Uno pulls off 2.
What?
How does Heroic make that work?
Yellow pings.
SSG in a 5v3. Heroic wins in a 2v0.
You see Uno ice cold. He has the information to Kaid, and he just tunnel visions on it fully. He's getting shot at, doesn't even flinch. It catches. It catches Bosco by surprise. Uno very happy with that performance. You see it here. Doesn't flinch even for a moment. The wall back to follow up on Yeti. Then Grizzly the flank from Fireplace, Dining Hallway. That, again, should not have been Heroic's round, but they isolate the members of SSG one by one and slowly get a hold on the bomb site. That's the Dining done and dusted for SSG. They might not go back to it for a while. They'll go across horizontally towards that bar bomb set instead. This is where we're gonna start seeing the operator bands play a part, because Asami is open. Asami impacts this library hold more than I think anything else on Chalet. The lines of sight you can deny
5 seconds left.
as a defender and make comfortable for yourself is so hard to deal with as an attacker, especially without the floors, you know, to use those terror drones to destroy those cube barriers. Grizzly is bringing the floors because of this. So all eyes are going to be lying between Grizzly on the floors and Hot and Cold on the Asami. They're going to be dancing back and forth with their pieces of utility. Heroic, if they choose to attack straight on, it's going to be difficult. But it's a great start for them as Sloth finds Rambi, putting down that Frostbite, I believe, late in the round. Wait, they're on the site as well. Doom, how did he get here?
Places where you shouldn't be, and he sees a player from SSG in back bar, manages to get out with his head still intact. He'll engage with Fultz in the dock, losing it. Joom just so much better. G36 ripping through these players of Space Station. They have lost complete control of the site, and untethered, they are currently in free fall. Uno getting the diffuser down, falling is Hot and Cold. Nitro Cell goes out to open up one of the walls. Yeti sees one, cannot connect. Thought he had the down onto Joom, but Heroic just make it look so easy.
They just walk on in. Joom came from the basement, I believe, just walking up a staircase in towards side. Gets one injured onto Boss, gonna kill onto the dock as well. And while that happens, Sloth found Rambi inside of West Main across the map as Rambi was late with his setup.
They are. They actually are.
Same colors, same logo, basically.
What was that?
This map is finished. It's actually on this last one.
Mr. Officer is gone.
Yeah, actually, he's disappeared.
Mr. Officer has disappeared.
Heroic having a bit of banter there. I didn't catch the beginning of it, but they're comparing SSG to a different team, saying same logo, same colors. Not sure what that's about. Might be about a Chalet performance. Now, I said it earlier, SSG, they've played Chalet one time so far at Invite 23. It was against W7M, arguably the best Chalet team in the world. And they suffered a 1-7 loss in that match. Haven't gone there since. So SSG, not the best track record. Jacob on the desk said they had like a 2-win, 2-loss streak since Yeti joined this squad.
5 seconds left before insertion.
But SSG also had a 0-7 attempt against G2 and Cafe, where they got absolutely slaughtered, and they still won. 8-7 close game against Heroic on that previous map, so anything is of course possible. The way the round played out with the side rush is not gonna happen many more times. I don't expect SSG playing much more close together, playing for those trades. Denying the entry points in Garage is Fultz.
Fultz what?
Well, he was denying the entry point, now he's gone.
Hot and Cold is actually gone. Heroic an entry kill yet again. Down goes the Azami. You talked about how incredibly useful Azami can be, while only 40 seconds to get those keep barriers out. Not a lot of time.
Yep, also Heroic, they're not attacking the side of the map where Asami is strong. That library hold, they're saying, we recognize that's a problem. We'll walk around it, above it, below it. They're not gonna challenge it whatsoever. And you can tell from Fultz on the vigil, he doesn't know what is clear and what isn't. This is what the game looks like when Nuke is not banned. Because, you can never trust your camera information. But Nuke is banned from SSG. This is just pure phantom pressure by all of Heroic. Always strike in different areas and constantly at that.
This is a very slow round, still in the discovery phase for Heroic. 2 in a row, not both of them rounds they should have won, to be fair, but doesn't matter if you should have won the round or not. Heroic knows they shouldn't have won a round on Cafe, which was instrumental in them making it to overtime. Uno picked apart by Yeti. Ooh, that's damning. That's your only hard breach. No secondary there for insurance.
I was gonna say, they can't break the side walls now. They have to go up and take top floor. They have no choice. They need the verticality, need that hatch control as well. Heroic might have to go against their own strategy by having to roam clear. And it gets worse. Rambi finds Chris on that window rappel.
Oh, the disappearing act through the hatch. Joom twisting, knowing how close he came, he could smell that kill. I think he did a tiny bit of damage to Bosco, maybe? It was hard to tell. Still up in bedroom.
Yeah.
A minute has gone by since we said that this was a slower round, and Heroic losing both Uno and Grizzly after getting the first pick on Hot and Cold is not where they want to find themselves.
No, it's not. Rambi even making their work on that flank, so if Heroic, they start hitting that bombs and give up top floor control, Rambi can use these holes against them again. They have to read on the verticality, but they gotta find these members. Yeti drops below, bomb site relatively weak right now.
And Bosco's with him. 3 players from Space Station down below right now. That leaves Rampy as the only player to be on that main floor.
10 seconds left.
Gotta just plant.
They do. Noodle got it in hand. Sloth will watch. How good is he going to be on this coverage? Looking to box them out from the only real angle he can, but he doesn't know that they're above. From the bottom floor to the top floor, Space Station's roam completely evades the sights of Heroic, and they manage to stop the diffuser as it goes down to win their very first round.
I just had to kill one. Let's go Master. Give me L2. And I'm at zombie? Or I'm Frost now, right?
Listen,
You want me to bring shield or BP?
I'm just playing zombie.
Let's do shield. Give yourself a shield bar.
We're changing the walls, right? Like we're reinforcing off those office walls, like the office to fire or office to ego.
Yeah, we're doing like the archer.
So I just really enjoy listening in as a former player myself. Just like going through the motions and being like, what do I bring? What am I gonna do? Shield, bulletproof, etc. Brings back some fond memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. SSG actually relatively loose in their setup. I actually expect them to be very kind of like on the paper saying on this bomb site, on this version, you play this, but there is a lot of freedom being allowed here, both in terms of operator picks, who gets to play those operators, and of course that secondary piece of utility between the shield and the bulletproof camera. It comes down to what you believe you need the most in these rounds, and I mean, I think that the deployable shields as well, the way the Heroic are playing, that's going to give you a lot more value than the bulletproof cameras because you need to fight back and hold your ground. When SSG they do that, they win the rounds. When they just get picked apart, that's when things they start getting real messy. One big change we've seen to Chalet in terms of how you play it out is this deployable shield inside of the Ivy hallway on Piano, where Rampy is playing. Normally, you see that being put in Piano where the second shield is going to be, but this more front-heavy setup with soft walls, that's one of the ways that a team like W7M, they helped shape up the meta of Chalet. This is a Latin strat, if you will, that other regions have now adopted and tailored to their own liking. This was very uncommon just 8 months ago on Chalet. Twitch drone, sneaky beaky, getting some information. Destroying these default cameras inside the building early in the round is very beneficial on Chalet. Means you can later strike from a flank in basement, fireplace, etc. as default cameras are far in between.
Teams coming to blows quite quickly. If these bullet tracers are any indication, inches apart. Joom watching the tracers go up and down, and look at this. His attention is elsewhere, but Fultz is a bit slow. Down he goes. The nade might get dropped as well. Some martyrdom could have been on the board. Now Fultz in a tough spot, but he fires through the wall, doing some caliber destruction. That's some nice bullet pen. Heroic losing out on all these duels. Still over half of the round to play. The Azami of a Yeti up above, looking through the floor. Noodle wanted that kill so desperately.
That is such a chaotic round. SSG doing a good job of fighting both vertically and horizontally together. 2 members always fighting one of Heroic to come out on top. Unu's stuck in this, so they repel the entirety of the round, not being enabled or allowed to play whatsoever. Now the fishing begins for Heroic. They know that this round is basically lost. They have to find kills and hope that SSG will surrender some of them with relative ease.
Flashbangs going across. Yeti not blinded by either of them. No swing in. They try to bait him into an engagement. The Type 89 firing away, almost out of bullets in that magazine. Uno with the reload. Noodle getting into position, just trying to buy time, but there's not a lot of time left to be bought. Both on the balconies or on rappel. Noodle go for the pinch onto Yeti? That's the real question. They know there's a hop in to be found. Noodle will be in a frost mat if he does not look down. Does he have that intel, Nick? That's the real question. I don't believe it's been droned yet.
That's tough. I mean, there's no time for these rotations. You guys gotta go. 15 on the clock.
15 seconds to go.
There's Uno now beginning his assault on the office door, opening up the castle barricade, but the time is not slowing down. Noodle in an act of desperation, he'll go through the double doors, and it's a relatively simple watch for Space Station. 2-2.
They're sloppy, man. They're sloppy.
Who needs a warm-up?
But very good call, Busco. I did not believe you for a second.
No, I didn't either, bro. You're on it, bro.
Dude, I knew it. Let's go bar. I do the Malusi. Yeah, play Malusi.
Yeah, I'm going Kakin too.
We got Malusi, we're good. I'll just bring Barb.
I thought you were talking about the guy that was shooting.
I guess one thing worth to note is that
I just like
the first game, which is the game that we're watching of the day, it starts at 10 a.m. Yet he said, I guess there's no need for warm-up. This, like the first half of Cafe, essentially is the warm-up for both teams. You gotta wake up, shower, breakfast, prep, etc. Wake up, then you play. If you have the second game of the day at 1 p.m., you'll most likely play a warm-up scrim or some casual, some TDM, whatever on your like individual warm-up. But for these early games, especially given that teams have 2 games today, if you win the first one, you're kind of warming up on your first best of 3. So Chalet must be feeling a little bit better for both of these teams.
5 seconds to insertion.
I think so.
It's tied up 2-2. It's no one's game yet.
Attackers are moving out.
In terms of operators, neither team really going too deep into their operator pool. Sure, we saw Monty once from SSG, we've seen Miriam play it on Cafe, but it has been the same 6 or 7 operators in both defense and attack that's seen the primary play in most of these rounds. I like the captain from Yeti, recognizing this pace of Heroic is very slow. If they speed up, might go too fast, hit a trap, go too slow, well, your forces walk on in. Can't check the doorways. This right here, the library hole with Asami. Heroic, you're challenging it. That is going to be a difficult task.
There go the magnets, but it might be a bit too late. Does Fultz get away? Yes! Hits the deck through the library hatch. Those magnets might have been expended at this point. How many flashbangs and at least 1 nade went in? Fultz gets away with just a tiny scratch.
Yeah, but now nobody's in this corner. And Slav could make a hero play. He gets 1. That's Yeti, the captain off the board.
Oh, answered back by Fultz. They let him go, and what does he do? He decides, I'll take the library stairs right back.
Yeah.
Concedes that part of the map, but how quickly he wants it again.
There is no frost. These window jump-ins could be lethal for Heroic. Their terror drones starting to pour out of Grizzly's pocket, taking down those keeper barriers, cleaning out the top blue stairs position. Frozen Hot and Cold fighting upstairs 2 versus 4.
Look at it where Fultz is. Almost back, but shot through what appears to be the window. Joom jumps in, takes a point of damage, but they secure the kill. Bad news for Heroic. Hot and Cold is still up there, and he's still swinging on that position. He'll lose some protection on that reinforcement, and then Uno long range ends what was remaining. These teams have battled back and forth. First 2 rounds go to Heroic. Next 2 go to SSG.
Ramber's in the flank, looking for a play, but he's being patient. Bosco, alone on bomb site, has to play it smart. Can't really expose himself to any gunfights, because if he falls, he'll just bomb site.
Rampy keeps numbers even, but now Rampy's going to lose a lot of HP to Grizzly. Who wins in this duel? Can Rampy get away? Bosco would be put into a 1v2 clutch. This Bar Gaming bomb site, with the way that teams set it up, to rotate through the wall between the sites, the single doors, or the hatch drop, it allows a smoke, an extreme amount of value on those toxic canisters, of which Bosco still has 1 remaining. Not to mention the fact that the shotgun can pretty much flatten you at such close range. Grizzly sees the Malusi. Rampy only at a point of HP. He's gone. Bosco will need to clutch out.
15 seconds.
Playing wisely, gets the drop onto Grizzly, the reload, but it's his undoing. Noodle is fast enough to capitalize off of that, and Heroic wins their 3rd round, ending SSG's streak of rounds at 2.
This one's 11 only having 17 bullets can sometimes be the biggest problem you have to deal with as a smoke main. You have to reload often between every single kill unless you get that first bullet headshot. Heroic, the trade here, not the quickest, but Noodle in a great position to fight Bosco 1v1 after he kills Grizzly.
Should we?
They're doing Sun. Use one of your
Should
bombs
we
to
what,
bomb.
Rampy?
Yeah, Sun.
No, we will never find out. Should we something? Kitchen dining bombs are being played again by SSG, extending up above. Third attempt on this bomb site. Heroic won the first attack on this bomb site, then SSG won the second. Dead even in terms of win rate. The Kai being brought time and time again by Bosco to deny these walls. And the thing is, Heroic not really opting for that. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say, they haven't really brought Thatcher yet. They want that soft destruction in terms of utility, because you gotta deal with so many things, the shields, the keeper barriers, etc. But Heroic recognizing that they haven't really breached the dining walls towards the bomb site from Fireplace yet. They've always gone top floor, they've always played for kills, then gone trophy, and then it becomes a massacre.
Hello?
Good night, Faults. He tried, he failed.
I mean, there was an attempt, that's for sure.
Happens sometimes, of course. We saw Heroic going for spawn peek constantly on Cafe, and sometimes they too got punished. That's going to be Vigil off the board, so a low value member in terms of operator lineup. Gadget doesn't really benefit the team a whole lot, just makes it more difficult to drone out where Vigil is.
Fultz was a great player on map 1 though, and
He was.
with that death, he's now even here on Chalet, so you kind of want him to continue on. But you look at both these teams and they're really no standout performers. Everybody's kind of doing what they need to do, what you expect of them. Hot and cold so far through this map and through this matchup have been SSG's best player, but he's had some struggles on defense. We see a reinvigorated Hot and Cold on attack.
The way that Chalet plays out, you're often in these really hell in a cell kind of scenarios as you see top library. Like, you're gonna get naded, flashbanged, you know, 2 people swinging you, etc. And SSG, because they lost Fultz early, they will surrender the first hold of library, fall back towards master bedroom, double reinforce the office wall, toss a kite claw on it, and make it difficult for Heroic to advance. The question now is for Heroic, do you fully clear top floor like last time, or just take that top half and try and breach the bomb site walls, because you have the Thatcher EMPs, you can break past this kite claw, it shouldn't be a problem for them.
Gadgetry destroyed by the Gone 6. A lot of utility that Buck brings to the table now. That Gone 6, the Skeleton Key, and the secondary Hard Breach. There's some issues with both of these teams only having a single Hard Breacher. You've now got a little bit of a buffer should things go sideways. After losing Fultz in the first couple seconds, there has been limited action. And Heroic have been able to play with this 5v4 lead for quite some time. They've got just under a minute to go, but we've got a collision course on the board. Yeti versus Noodle. Yeti comes out ahead. Rampy falters. So whatever SSG tried to do, they could not keep the numbers even. They will trail yet again.
Yeah, but time is a problem. 35-4 comes out, prep from the ground. Uno might fall to it.
There's the Nitro Cell. Does not connect at all, Nick. Final 30 seconds. And there's spam marks inside of the bomb site. Heroic have information, and they're using it to their advantage, this time on the Bosco. Heroic doubling up on numbers.
15 seconds left.
The only real hope SSG has is to stop Uno from getting that diffuser down. One player drops right into the eyes of Hutton. He's there to get them all. 3 players drop. Nobody sees him watching the hatch. And Yeti sends us to the second half, tied up 3-3.
Hot and cold, he showed up at Cafe, and we said it a slow start on Chalet. But there he is. 3 in a row. Heroic sloppy on the hatch drop, 1 by 1 by 1. So no trade whatsoever. Only 1 member doing any damage toward him as well. Yeah. That is one of those rounds where it's gotta suck.
What we need, where we need someone holding something.
Not much being shared or said. That's the first half. A tie. As close as it can possibly get. We did see a 2-4 scoreline favoring Heroic on the previous map of Cafe. We'll see both teams walking away even on the first half on Chalet.
How do you spend all of that time at the advantage they had?
Yep.
Droning out the top floor, bucking the entire top floor, and never bother to drone probably probably the most obvious spot that somebody is going to sit in to watch a hatch drop outside of maybe a kill hole all the way back in Trophy. How do you just not do that?
It's the small things, right? And the thing is, in Rainbow Six Siege, there are so many details to keep track of, and it's easy to be like, oh, that's the obvious one, that's the big mistake, but there are a lot of issues you can point towards, right? Noodle in basement, why does he swing yet into the 1v1 when he's stuck inside a garage? You can hold the crush, you got the advantage, and there's just constantly this checklist in your head. Where are they? The right drone, the right time, share information, make the right play, follow closely, go for trades. One thing of all of those goes wrong, you might lose the round. It just happens to be the one big mistake Heroic made. Well, SSG, they were there to capitalize on it. It's hot and cold, winning his gunfights, hitting his shots, and sure, Heroic, they allowed the gap, but it's SSG who took control.
First half in the books, both teams going 3-3, only 3 bomb sites shown. That kitchen bomb site on the main floor, bar gaming, and then the office.
They're barging in.
They're just going for it. Never mind. Let me hold my words for a second here. Rampy sustaining a bunch of damage. Heroic are prepped and ready for this, and they've reduced Space Station to a single player. A minute off the clock. As they barge into the bomb site, it's Yeti to clutch out. He can't even get a single kill after all of his teammates are down.
That just fucking one flick could tap some geezer in bathroom.
Heroic make that first round look easy.
Can almost argue that SSG made it look easy because it's, I mean, a side rush is always
wasn't gonna be
gamble. You weren't gonna be mean. I mean, Heroic made the last attack that they had look easy for SSG, so they're just doing each other favors. See Bosco with a strat book. So it looks like it. Bosco, of course, taking over a lot of the IGL role for Space Station in more recent times. A lot of teams have been going through the try and have 5 people call together, try and have just one guy call, and nowadays we're actually seeing quite a difference in leadership styles amongst these teams. We saw some teams like W7M relying on somebody like Julio with that experience who can lead the troops forward, especially emotionally in the server. Uno and Heroic, single voice for the team pretty much, doing 95% or so of all the calls and decisions in the team. And then we see some teams like G2, who very openly said that they have a very vocal team in general, where every single person will talk, but it's, I believe nowadays, Alamau who mainly takes over like the decision making for the strats. And depending on which kind of version of Rainbow Six Siege you're playing, because the meta, the way the game is played, it changes every 2 to 3 months on a small scale, and on a bigger scale every 6 to 8 months. It might be more beneficial to have more or less people talking, depending on where you find yourself in that meta game.
Yeah, there's that old saying, right? Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yep.
So it really depends on who you want to have as your main point to talk. I mean, when you hear the SSG timeouts, pretty much everybody from Hot and Cold jumps in to a certain extent. When it's Heroic, it's just Uno. So sometimes it's a collaborative process, sometimes it's a dictatorship. Uno, the dictator. I was trying to talk about this first half, by the way, but the early bout of action in the previous round stopped me.
You're gonna try again?
I would like to try again.
Okay.
3 bomb sites were played. Kitchen showed up 3 times. Bar Gaming showed up twice. That office showed up a single time. It was played once by Heroic on their very first defense. In terms of first bloods, Space Station only have a single uncontested first blood. That was all the way back in round number 1. Outside of that, they've either traded or Heroic have had 3 uncontested first bloods of their own. Objective play hasn't really been that important. It's been there, but not as often as we've seen before. Yeah. Certainly not as much as we saw in Cafe.
I was gonna say, Cafe, a complete different ball game.
Oh, Noodle!
Shots.
You gotta get very quiet in the library. The librarians say you gotta be shh. Noodle and Sloth now die. Whoa, wait a minute here. Space Station kill 3 players in a quick burst of action themselves. You lost the smokes of Bosco. You lost the fire of Bosco. No way to replicate that with the lineup that SSG has.
Gonna rotate, looking for that objective play of the diffuser. 2v4, we've seen Heroic throw these. SSG don't want to play tight together. They got so much time to work with. 1 minute on the clock. Capital sure is gone. No smokes, but flashbangs, plenty to go. 6 of them in pocket of Hot and Golden Yeti.
There's a logic bomb that goes off, and what we just saw is exactly why sometimes first blood doesn't actually matter all that much. You get first blood, but then immediately Space Station gets 3 kills. That's a trade, but SSG absolutely has the upper hand in the rest of the round. Now all eyes from Heroic will be on Grizzly. Making a ton of noise above. SSG have so many players all over the map that they can watch every inch getting into the bomb site and out. They deny Heroic a retake, and the diffuser doesn't go down. The final kill happens a little bit too quick for that stat to go in. Again, tied up. No matter what, these teams so evenly matched.
I'm gonna start either lurking in below and taking like M1, crossing just weird pressure like that. If L1 isn't barbed, like they had it barbed that round, but I'll fucking walk up that bitch if we want to clear L2.
I did not expect that at all. It was sounding so innocent until it didn't. Phantom pressure for SSG. They recognize the strength of it. Just kind of applying, as Remy said, weird pressure across the map, top and down, keeping her guessing as to where they are. And Heroic, a relatively more passive lineup. The Maestro Evil Eye cameras, the Aruni gates, the Keeper Bearer, and the Frost. The only real roaming gun right now is going to be Doom on deletion. Uno, it seems like he wants to get more into the battle on this map in particular. And sure, Chalet and Border, the more aggressive type maps where gunfights really have a big role to be played, and trying to leverage as many guns in one area of the map is the way to go. Uno is playing Bok on attack in the last 2 rounds. Now he's playing the Frost instead of Pulse, for example. And more likely will try and look for engagements of his own. He is sitting at 4 or 5 in terms of scoreline. He's not too far behind his teammates. Top gunners are 6 apiece for Grizzly, Sloth, and Doom. And for both teams, it's really a full team effort. On SSG, top gunner is 7 kills hot and cold. Bottom gunner is Rampy and Bosco on 5. Only 2 kills separating them. The same exact story for Heroic.
Both timeouts still remaining, by the way. Something to keep your eye on as we now look guaranteed to get 11 rounds of the 12. Again, this will be a very deep map. I'd like to remind everybody, obviously not to change the channel, but if you are a fan of FaZe Clan or G2 Esports, they're currently doing battle on the B stream, twitch.tv/rainbow6. That's the number, Bravo. Just take this URL and type Bravo after it. Fluke and Happer over there voicing the action, and again, the loser of that match will be eliminated. Could it be the organization that have been multi-time world champions? Could it be FaZe Clan, who happen to be major
champions? Yeah.
That's a big match going on. A lot of stakes in every single game today because the loser of every match that is played today goes home. We are in the midst of the lower bracket. Oh, he actually catches it. I think he might have been hoping for it to get a little bit deeper, Noodle. Totally destroying Fultz in that first engagement, but Rampy, well, he's got some pep in his step. Again, losing that first pick, but answering back so swiftly. These teams are not getting uncontested kills.
Ooh,
Noodle knocked down. Rampy cannot secure. He's a bit late, but there's a drop. The Frost of Uno, but where's the nade? Will it hit its mark? Rampy looked like he had it ready. No, hot and cold is there, and Rampy takes matters into his own hands. Heroic falling by the wayside. Uno completely blinded out. Grizzly from above. These are the last 2 players from Heroic. 1 down below, 1 up above. And there's red marks that Grizzly can play off of.
They know the flank is coming. Uno's sitting patiently outside. Grizzly, if he gets the kill above, gets that vertical control, that could be the difference maker in this round.
It's the question. Will it happen?
No.
There goes Grizzly. SSG are perfect as they now move ahead of Heroic. This has got to be a timeout.
I love that shit.
Yeah, take a timeout, pussies.
Fultz said, take the fucking hammer away and pick up your goddamn flank. That's what love that shit.
Reason why we're dying upstairs right now, the way I see it, we get the opening kills really good. But then after that, we're holding same angles. Like we had 2 people holding bathroom towards piano at the same time. We're not communicating about like who is holding what. We're not having a 360. Boys, look at me. Fuck the score. We need to fucking believe in this if we're gonna come back, right?
Yep.
When I started coaching in this game, nobody fucking believed in me, but I fucking believe in you. You need to start fucking believing in yourself as well. 110%. We have absolutely nothing to lose right now. chest up, fucking go. 100%. Play with confidence. 360 degrees. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, boys.
Let's fucking go. Come on, boys.
Let's fucking go.
Where we going?
Let's fucking go.
Back to man.
Just need
They
more
rushed last
confidence,
time,
guys.
so this time they're probably gonna do something else.
I know that's not how they meant it.
Yeah.
But when he goes, let's go, and then
goes,
you
"Where
just hear
do we
somebody go,
go?"
where are we going? I know they were talking about the bomb site,
Yeah.
but just the way they say it, it's like, imagine, let's go, boys. Where? Where are we going?
Yeah. Fighting words from Mr. Officer, and this is most of Heroic's tactical timeout. It's about staying in it mentally, still believing in the possibility of a comeback, and there's only one round separating SSG and Heroic. It's not all that doom and gloom, but the way the rounds are going, SSG, they're looking dominant on the attack so far, controlling the pace, the momentum, and the full map control. Heroic, they started off being very aggressive on Cafe, the previous map, challenging all the entry points for Space Station's attack. But now here in Chalet, since the side swap, we're mostly seeing Heroic actually sacrificing a lot of map control and playing very much close to the bomb side. And that's a problem. When the Asami is open, Library is easier to hold. That's not being taken advantage of by Heroic. SSG, they're cooking something up, hot and cold. Not on the Monty this time. He wants more speed, more aggression. 10 and 6 on the scoreboard for him. He's on the blitz. They got 2 sets of smokes, got the Dokebi phone calls, and the Lion. If anyone from Heroic is isolated on the roam, they will get hunted down immediately by hot and cold.
You know, I want to credit the main subreddit just for a second here. There was a talk about, like, what are unpopular opinions or opinions that you've held against the game, and somebody basically said, people who play against a blitz isolated and then complain about the operator being overpowered when you don't communicate with your teammates and you play far removed from the rest of the map cannot complain about an operator whose sole job is to hunt you down. If you don't want a blitz breathing down your neck and punishing you, then maybe play supported with another roamer or close to the bomb site. That's really what it comes down to. Hot and cold so far led the way on map 1, is doing the same here on map number 2. The blitz has not really been able to show much use at the moment. Rampy walks in, gets the very first pick of round number 10. Space Station are 4 kills away from moving to series point.
Yeah, there's 2 more off the board. That's usually the lead gunner for Heroic. They're going to be less lethal in this round, and hot and cold, recognizing that they got the map control quickly, doesn't want to expose himself as a blitz. You can get shot in the shoulder and your toes. He needs that health bar to stay as high as possible for the bombs that execute later on. Grizzly is downstairs in basement, could opt for a flank, but he's just gonna wait right now, see when he can strike.
Using Rampy to assist this drone in. Houghton will need the assistance of his teammates. Sloth do battle here. Oh, he finds it. That's the problem with Blitz, is that you are vulnerable if your opponents can hit their shots. There are small parts of you that are visible when that shield is present. You need to be able to capitalize off of catching them off guard. Down goes Yeti, and the castle barricade breaks. Uno is not prepared for that. He backs away instead. Rampy finds kill number 2. The Blitz so close to being able to get closer to the bomb site. Hot and cold on very low HP, though. No impacts, no C4, nothing that can do chip damage to him other than just bullets. Fultz eliminating Sloth puts Heroic in a very bad position with Bosco holding onto that diffuser at the halfway mark. Now it's Uno under fire, the Jaeger flushed out of his spot. It's Uno in a 1v4 to make it a 1v3 with the clock running against him. Space Station can taste series point. Uno has to do something about it. But Space Station aren't moving at all. They're not giving in. In fact, they're still sitting on the diffuser. They haven't vacated the site at all. Uno will creep around looking for intel, but this is so tough. Where do you go? Because Space Station will likely be snapped into action if you punish one of them. Uno doesn't find a single player. Rampy to seal the deal, and it's Space Station on series point.
SSG
Matt's
playing.
just walking around in fucking arch, and he's like, yo, this guy's in office, and this guy's just guy's back turned to me. Freebie!
They're playing all the angles, all the floors.
It was bad timing.
SSG looking like the better team. Much more depth to their attacks.
They go big guy.
I don't know.
I'm gonna run a small snowmobile.
Heroic playing on a singular plane, no verticality, no C4s below, no flank from the roam. Trying to fight head on is a single member of Doom with no follow-up from the rest of the members of Heroic. And we heard it during that small pause between the 2 rounds. They're looking for a spawn peak, looking to go aggressive, and when you're down 4-6 and it's match point, now more than ever, you gotta pull something out that is not to be expected. If you give SSG a cookie-cutter basic attempt of an execute where you don't disrupt them in any way whatsoever, you cannot expect to win these rounds. That's what they've done so far. SSG, they wanna go library, they get it in 20 seconds. Easy peasy. They wanna take basement, they just walk on in with 1 drone, they take basement control. Heroic as a team needs to fight back and deny them the objectives that SSG they want and care about.
Heroic are 5 deaths away from plane tickets home. A long flight, but at least they get to escape the Canadian winter.
Hasn't been too bad, I'll say. I was expecting it to be worse. Doom hears this, sees the drone, knows that the follow-up is about to be there afterwards. Selma charge goes out. Exchangement of bullets back and forth through the wall does no damage to either side. But again, this is Heroic challenging the injury points, making it difficult for SSG to make any progress. This is good for them.
They said they were going to go for a run out from Snowmobile, but it doesn't happen. Rampy was posted up down below in Big Garage. Looks like a face that's been made on the Snowmobile door, but maybe that's just me projecting. Yep,
Oh, that's definitely
like a very
a face.
angry face, yes.
Rah!
Is that the noise it would make?
That is the noise it would make.
And they can actually army crawl their way through it.
That's big. They get what they want in the end. Beep boop goes off. Heroic knows their whereabouts, has the verticality on it. Yeti not taking that risk. Noodle at any moment could flank Yeti on that 5-place staircase. That could be a free kill, but SSG, they read it. They expect it to happen.
Oh my. Oh my, oh my.
Ooh.
There goes the Selma. Tense action between these teams here. Everything on the line for Heroic. Team spends so long preparing for this series, preparing for this event. Rampy gets kill 1, that's Joom down. Joom and Noodle have been the stars of the show for Heroic. But pretty much everybody on this team sits at 6 kills. So at least in this instance, you're not that far behind losing one of these players. Uno will try to retake. He gives his position away and will have to trudge back upstairs. There's another from SSG. Rampy has been phenomenal. When Space Station need him the most, he shows up. Now they'll need to watch as Bosco goes for the plant, but he peels off. Down goes Fultz. Suddenly Heroic are hitting their shots. Bosco takes matters into his own hands. Lost by Sloth. 30 seconds to go. Nade in, Rampy picks the wrong direction. No nades left to follow up on. He is the diffuser. And we'll go for a plant. Wary of those hatches, Yeti will need to be the one to lock them out. But Noodle sees Yeti, and now Rampy has to fall off. This is an engagement that Rampy could win, and now he'll go for the diffuser, baiting Noodle in. Out goes the door. Can Rampy pull this off? A world champion.
10 seconds to go.
The nade stops him. Rampy knows, and he's good! A world champion with a world championship performance to send Heroic back to Europe.
You said it, Parker. Rampy, inconsistent performances, but in the final moments in the 1 versus 1, he gets it for his team.
Oh my! It was a good run from Heroic. A spirited performance in their group, but they come up empty-handed on the 2nd day of playoffs. A lot of you had written Space Station off. You thought there would be a failure to launch, but boy, are they soaring now. They're not out of it, they're still in the lower bracket, and they are still, and will be, 1 map and 1 match away from being knocked out.
One thing to note for Heroic side, they came in with Sloth having just like 2 days before travel to figure things out. Oscar couldn't make it due to visa problems. Heroic were not playing with their main roster, yet they still got as far as it did, escaping groups, putting up really good numbers against various teams, but ultimately fell to OXG and then now to SSG.
You and I had the privilege of watching and casting most of these heroic matches. And the one thing that we kept saying was that they're not playing at full potential, but they are still putting up